going to talk about Greenland Ruby and investing in Greenland Ruby and investing in Greenland in the wider context. So welcome. I mean, a lot of people said, okay, where's Greenland? A lot of people really don't know, and I think after Mr. Trump said let's buy it, a lot of people do know now. But this is Greenland, and you see on the map it's like the size of South America. It's 2,200 square kilometers and packed under 3 kilometers thick of ice. And that's where Greenland Ruby is exploring and exploiting the Greenland Ruby mine. 55,000 people, pristine, clean, healthy, and a great environment. So you see there the little ruby, that's where the mine is. We quickly go through the history and the potential of the mine, the value chain, the opportunities, the major strength, and the production and the exploration upside, and the business plan. This is about the story which is of a company which is in real production, which is it's not just a startup, this is already an ongoing organization, and we show that later on, including its purpose and why we think it's a great opportunity. What I said, this is not just a startup. Here's a long-term history from the early 2000s where we talked about the overall sampling, the drilling, the testing, etc. And basically, to cut a long story short, because we only have 20 minutes, going into full production 2 years ago, where the company tested basically the upstream, what is coming out of the ground, what is the color, what do we have to do with it, and basically going into the downstream, into the retail market, and understanding the product and the appetite from retail, wholesale, in the jewelry industry. What makes this company different is the fact that they decided as a team to control the whole value chain. So to be able to manage and control from mine to market, which is an extremely important differentiation compared to any other gemstone company in the world. Most of them just sell the rough and actually sort of don't care what's happening later on with the end product. Greenland Ruby said, we do the mining, we do the sorting and the processing, all done in Greenland. It's very important that we work with the local people. The heating and the treatment is done, and we can talk about that when you have later questions in more detail, in Thailand. Over the centuries, people in Thailand have developed the right techniques to do treatment. And the cutting and the polishing is done in the capital of Ruby. There's a Jaipur in India, where you have also generations of experience going forward from that point of view. Then the whole sales and marketing is done by Greenland Ruby itself. There are offices in New York, but also in Paris. And from there, it's shipped all over the world to its customers. So basically, completely integrated, vertically integrated company. The problem is, and who knows anything a little bit about gemstones in the audience? You know, that you know that provenance is an issue. Origin is an issue. Can you imagine that a Tiffany or Louis Vuitton these days or Signet has a recall action on its pieces of jewelry because the origin is not supposed what it's supposed to be, or the quality, or even the whole provenance. So the consumer these days wants to know what he's buying, what she's buying, and why. It needs to have a purpose. And Greenland Ruby offers that purpose, and from a pristine environment. It's not a commodity. Sometimes people think, well, the gemstones are a commodity. A ruby is certainly not a commodity. It's one of the most rarest gemstones in the world, even more rare than diamonds, actually. Especially if you talk about, and Magnus will tell that, if you talk about a product which is 3 billion years old. So the problem is there. The solution is there as well. What I said, Greenland Ruby manages the whole provenance from mine to market, and that makes the company pretty unique. Irrefutable provenance, standard ethics, European company, European-based company. Greenland is basically protectorate of Denmark, so the rules and regulations and everything are similar. I think this is something what's in the philosophy of the company. This is not just for now, this is not just for tomorrow, but this is the start of an adventure for years and maybe for decades. Greenland is not just a Greenland Ruby story, but also a kind of a ticket into Greenland, which is known for enormous rare earth deposits, of rare earth mineral deposits, and actually a very cooperative government to work with. And that is what Magnus and his company has been doing over the years to establish a great relationship. So the solution is there, and the proof of that solution is there as well. We talk here about unique stone, so wherever the stone goes, everybody who knows anything about gemology will recognize this as a ruby or a pink sapphire from Greenland. Each stone above a carat is coming with the certificate of origin, and basically every step according to the production is mapped and basically endorsed by the Greenlandic government. Major strength, what I said already, we can't stress enough, the ESG and CSR factors, high-tech operation. It's the most modern gemstone factory and production factory in the world there in Greenland, and basically a very strong and effective management team with loads of experience in mining and in the gem and jewelry industry. Responsibly sourced, I can't repeat it enough. We talked about Greenland being part of Denmark. So it's responsible not by just saying, yes, we follow the CSR principles, but the company is following these principles because they think it's a good thing to do as a human being, as an individual, and not just as a marketing trick. So we talk about Polar Sciences. There's the Pink Polar Bear Foundation, which is the social responsibility arm of the company. We talk about innovation, sustainability, and we talk about looking at the 17 Sustainable Development Goals and basically map all the activities of the company vis-à-vis the 17 Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. This is a little bit of the introduction on the easy side. So this is getting now in the more technical side, so we'd love to hand over to Magnus. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Erik, for a good introduction, and thank you all for joining us today. I'll go quickly through some of the production numbers so far. As Erik touched upon, we've now been in production for 2 years. Starting early 2018, late 2017 with production in the mine and the commissioning of the process plant. From this stage, we have produced 13,000 tons of ore in 2018 and 17,000 tons of ore in 2019. And we are currently ramping up with a target to reach the production capacity of both the mine and the process plant in 2020-2021. So far, this has given us approximately 1,000 grams of heat-treated corundum, finally sorted and graded in our sorting facilities in Bangkok. And we are also, over the last 2 years, installed the capacity to handle our entire production target for volume for the coming years. This being a primary deposit, basically 99% of it has to be heat-treated. This is due to several factors. It heals some of the fractures that are natural in the stone, making it stronger for processing, for cutting, but it also, for some parts of the distribution of qualities, is improving its color and clarity. Basically, this is the same kind of procedure that was known for the Mongshu rubies coming out of Burma in the 1990s. So it's a well-known procedure, very established and accepted in the end market. From our production over the last 2 years, we have standardized our qualities, dividing it into 2 separate lines, one for the transparent qualities and one for the opaque qualities. The transparent qualities are graded into 6 different grades, going from deep red into light pink, almost white categories. You can see the distribution of the transparent qualities in the graphics here. Approximately 10% of the production so far, very much in line with the numbers in the feasibility studies, are being graded as transparent. In the opaque material, we have 8 different grades, also ranging from deep red to light pink, almost white, but we also have some production, graded as blue, and dark, almost brownish red. For those of you who is not very familiar with sapphires and rubies, basically the separation between ruby and sapphire is due to color. It's the same mineral, both in the corundum family, where the darker red colors are graded as rubies and the lighter pink will be graded as sapphires. Bit of numbers from our reserves and resources. From the feasibility study, we have approximately 55 million grams of corundum in the life of mine. The deposit is still open, both in depth and north and south going. Life of mine from today, approximately 8 years. We've been producing now for 2 years and see, as explained previously, to reach our capacity within the next year. From the feasibility study, the ore body is documented with and is NI 43-1 compliant, based on 6,500 meters of drill course, mainly in two different kind of ore bodies. The primary ore body, being ruby bearing minerals, is phlogopite, and the secondary, mostly carrying sapphires, is gabbroic. Just some sample photos, and you can see from the ore body to the rough products to the cut and polish samples, being phlogopite ore body. And the same with the sapphire gabbroic ore body. In addition to our Apalutuk mine, we have two separate deposits which we are exploring. We have collected bulk samples from those two deposits back in 2017. And are currently waiting permission from the government to do a further treatment and quality testing from these samples, making it a good upside for the business to explore the two next deposits in the future years. They are both located nearby the infrastructure that is fully invested in, and with very small additional capex, you can reach the two next deposits, which will extend the life of mine of this project by many years. In addition to this, which is a bit extra and outside the ruby and gemstone industry, we also have a huge anorthosite complex closely related to the infrastructure. It's just a few hundred meters from the established camp facilities. This has a totally different industrial use, and you have today an operating mine producing anorthosite nearby our location in Greenland. Started its production approximately 6 months ago. So looking a bit into the market strategy and our distribution strategy, we are looking to work with the different tiers in the market as of today. We started our market launch with small individual retailers and jewelry designer to make a presence, to tell the story to the market, and to give proof that this is actually a sellable, good quality product with a good story attached to it. As of today, we are working with larger international distributors, jewelry manufacturing partners, online and TV companies, and cruise ship companies to introduce this in larger scale. And we are looking to have a cash flow positive operation this year. Our first launch was with a Danish retailer called Hartmann. He launched his product line late 2018, which was our first international launch of the jewelry collection. The introduction went very well, and from this stage we have been building on the same concept into different market areas, and we are now selling and distributing our gems to approximately 20 individual retailers and designers worldwide. Within 14 days, they sold out the entire collection, and is now currently off-taking and has a steady off-take of some of our finest gem material. This will never count for a large volume of our total production, but this is a good example of how you can utilize the story, how you can make good profit margins from also some of the more commercial material that we have to offer, and with the right partner and packaging, make this project a huge success. Erik briefly touched upon, this is a great opportunity. Some of the challenges in the gemstone market we are situated to actually solve. One of the upsides from the jeweler perspective is that historically gemstones has been given the largest margins from wholesale to retail prices. We have now proven this with several of our designer and individual retailer partners, and we are looking to make this more large scale in the next 6 months. So a bit about the numbers. As you saw from the production numbers, we are ramping up production this year and the next, and in line with this we also ramp up our sales numbers. We look to grow our revenues this year to make it cash flow positive, and from 2021 we will have strong EBITDA margin as most of the capex is already spent, the infrastructure is constructed, it's in place, and next required capex is going to be in the near the end of mine of life for this project, so at earliest in 2023, 2024. Thanks.